Alright, what's up guys? It's been a long time since I last made a video. This video is a little bit different. It's going to be about the degenerate sport of esport of sim racing. So we're going to be talking about virtual sim racing. If you're not interested, I'd recommend clicking off. Now, this video is made in regards to the bullshit pricing system that iRacing has. I want to start off by saying that iRacing as a whole is a very good sim. I personally really like it. However, the pricing system recently has really been pissing me off, and especially with the whole pandemic situation and how we're seeing the global markets crash. We're seeing currencies around the world really fluctuate in price. You know, it's not easy for everyone to keep enjoying iRacing, and I wish iRacing would come up with alternative pricing systems like most companies in the world. You know, we've seen in the past decade companies completely transform their pricing system so they can get more and more people buying their service or content. Now, the whole simpery thing, right? I don't want to really attack iRacing directly. I'm really pissed off at simps. Like, you might be like, oh, but simps are, people who are simping for a woman or something. Well, there's a different kind of simp. It's the iRacing simp. This guy goes on Reddit or on any forum and he will defend iRacing no matter what. He'll come up with some bullshit calculation that if you calculate the cost per kilometer and then multiply it by the pricing of whatever bullshit, it's actually a really good deal. It's actually iRacing is actually really cheap. Fuck, man. I don't know where to begin with these people, but I made this shitty slideshow to try and provide my criticism of the whole pricing system. I've seen guys who have criticized the gamer muscle, but they don't really lay into the problem that's at hand, and it's these people that are constantly defending it and enabling iRacing to continue this greedy practice. So let's start off with with this Reddit post. So this guy made a post about a year ago. He's saying that he can't continue iRacing. It's too expensive. He says that the free or low introductory membership when you sign up for the first time is a smoke shield that is used to lower you in. Now, I can completely agree with this because this is what kind of got me with iRacing. I thought, you know what? It sounds really cheap and I can kind of afford to buy some content. Later, did I find out I got into iRacing and most of the content is fucking expensive. It adds up. And for me, I'm a huge endurance racing fan. I wanted to get the 24 hours of Nordschleife layout. I bought the whole Nürburgring loop. That was like $25 or something Australian. Absolutely insane. Whatever. I love the track. I thought iRacing did a good job on it. I bought it. Later did I find out I have to buy the Nürburgring as well on top of that to get the 24-hour layout. Seriously. Okay, a love or hate R factor. They give you the Nürburgring for, what is it, 21 Australian? I don't know how much it was, 23 Australian, and you get all the layouts. So I don't know. You get the tourist layout and you get the 24-hour layout, or you get the VLN layout. Okay, that's a bit greedy. Whatever, iRacing. So what else is this guy saying? Oh yeah, this is another point. A lot of you get into iRacing and you'll notice that a lot of the whatever they're called servers that people are racing on, a lot of the tracks you don't own. So it's like, especially when one of those seasons pop up, you're like, shit, I've got to buy all these tracks. What do? Do I continue my membership or do I buy these tracks? It adds up. It's expensive. You know what I mean? Like, it's $15 a track. Absolutely insane. You're paying for a subscription. Okay, I'd be fine with $15 a track. But if I had an alternative, okay, iRacing says that you don't don't own these tracks. You own the license to use them. Well, that's how Steam works. That's how all these other services work. And you're putting another utility bill, some sort of utility bill on top of what I'm paying for my content in order for me to use it. Most of the time, I can't even use what I want because, most of the people, they're either racing on the free content or they're racing on stuff that doesn't interest me, like oval racing. So I don't really have an alternative there. So one user replied and says, "Disagree. Price keeps the competition and serious up." So this is the first kind of simp comment that I'm going to introduce you to. This is complete bullshit. If you've played at least a few hours of iRacing, you're going to come across guys who will ram you. You can see this on Reddit. You can always see people complaining about this. People are going to get mad, but that is the truth. All right, I'm willing to concede that iRacing does have cleaner racing. It does, but obviously, Assetto Corsa Competizione doesn't have as clean racing, but it has fairly clean racing if you compare it to some shitty arcade game like F1. Even R Factor in some cases has clean racing. If you join some sort of group or whatever, but the direct competitor that I can bring up right now is Assetto Corsa Competizione. In my opinion, it is extremely good in some instances, but again, iRacing is obviously the clear winner. But this is just such a simp comment because it's like we should be paying more in order to have clean races. What the fuck is that, man? When there are so many alternatives that iRacing could introduce. Firstly, you could just lower the price and introduce a safety rating system, or you could introduce a mass reporting system or replay recording system, and then report replays already recorded from what I know in iRacing, and just report the incident that you see in the video. This is a complete fallacy of an argument because he's implying that there's a correlation between paying more for a sim and having cleaner races, which is complete bullshit. You can even watch guys like Jimmy Broadbent. You watch guys playing iRacing all the time, the guys who do like daily iRacing videos. You'll always see people crashing into each other and fucking around. It happens. That's iRacing. That's sim racing in general. What do you expect? And I don't know. I have to get a little diagram here because some people just don't want to get this through their head. Like, this is business 101, You've got the sun. Just because the sun sunburns you doesn't mean it's got a correlation to the ice cream melting or vice versa. It doesn't make sense. All right, next. We've got this Facebook post, and this is the reason I bring this up is because you've got the boomer iRacing simp, the classic stereotypical iRacing user. Now, no hate, there are a lot of older guys on iRacing. Majority, I think the majority on the database of iRacing are older guys. Without a doubt, we know older demographics are obviously going to be wealthier. They're going to be more successful. They're going to have their career, they're going to be at the peak of their career, or they're going to be towards the end of their career. They're going to have mortgages paid off. They're going to have proper savings. They're going to have all these other things that a lot of us younger people won't have, especially students. And to say that, well, we don't need younger people because they fuck around on iRacing, whatever. That's completely ageist. You're implying that just because someone's young, they're a shit racer. Well, from my experience, I've raced people who are younger than me, and they've raced cleaner than people who are older than me. So there's no argument there. Now, this guy is saying that iRacing is too expensive for normal people. I have time to play just a couple of races a week. In my case, I can say that's the same. I don't have time to play iRacing the whole day like some professional race drivers. And now he says, if you add the fact that we have to buy each tracks and cars separately, and even then you can't afford those offline, those offline is pretty unfair system. Like I own, but I don't. I think what he's trying to argue here is that I buy all this content, and if I don't pay a subscription, I can't even get on the iRacing homepage. Can't even get on that iRacing homepage, and to see. I don't know, to see the races that are going on. Not to race, but you can't even get on that page. You have to pay a subscription to get back on that homepage. And then you get this complete shitbag called Dan King, who looks like he had his teeth kicked in because he's trying to act all tough. Probably he had his teeth kicked in jail because he's trying to. I don't know why he's referencing himself being in jail. I don't know, trying to act tough or something. But he comes off as the stereotypical boomer iRacing user. And he says, well, man, talk about entitled. So if you buy a 2 liter milk and don't drink at all, do you expect the milk company to refund you the portion you don't drink? Well, how the fuck is this even a valid argument? How are you comparing a software to milk? And this guy points it out. Unless digital data corrupts over time, which it shouldn't, it doesn't. So I don't understand what the argument here. What about your mortgage when you're at work for 8 hours? Do you want the bank to refund part of your payments? Don't like it, don't buy it. Again, this is very stereotypical. Don't like it, don't buy it. Well, I do like it, but I want an alternative system of paying for iRacing. And if you've studied any sort of fucking basic marketing, entry-level marketing, which clearly this Dan King hasn't because he's fucking towing cars for a living, you'd understand that by having alternative pay systems or just different types of pay systems, you're broadening your market, your demographics of people that you can have buying your service. So, again, I keep suggesting this, but for some reason, a lot of iRacing people don't like this. Let people use that offline content that they buy when AI is fully released with AI. And if they want to go online, let them pay the subscription. That's fine. I don't understand why iRacing hasn't done this. People are still mad, though, because you'll see later people say, oh, but we need to pay... We need to pay that subscription for development. If I buy a fucking phone, do I need to pay a subscription continuously for my iPhone to get updates? Or is a company just... It has common sense to update its product or its service so that, it's up to date, and then people have a good impression and leave good reviews about that product or service, and then therefore they continue buying it. You don't see fucking Apple sell you an iPhone and then you have to pay on top another fee for that iPhone so you can get updates for it. It's completely stupid. This argument doesn't make sense. Next, this is... I don't even know what to start. This is like complete shill mode for iRacing. If you haven't tried iRacing because it's too expensive and you're drooling over Forza 5. No one's drooling over Forza 5. This is a bit old, but no one really drools over Forza. And then he does... I'll do a little maths for you. I'll do a little math. He does a basic preschool maths. So he says the new Xbox One is $500. Implying people can't get it cheaper, or implying that people only want Xbox for sim racing. Okay, whatever. Forza 5, $60. All the Forza DLC, $100 plus. Well, here you go, mate. When you buy a DLC, do you buy all the DLC for a game, or do you buy the DLC you like? Well, you buy the DLC you like. Because if we use this line of argument, then we would say, well, all of the iRacing DLC is over $1,000. So your whole argument here falls apart. Xbox Live subscription, $60. For how long? For how long? We're talking about I don't know. I don't know how much Xbox Live subscription goes for because I don't care about consoles. And if you want a wheel because your old one no longer works, 300 plus. I love how he just adds this to his whole math calculation that he's trying to do here. Yes, I know you can get Xbox Live at a discount, but you can get discounts on iRacing too. When? On Black Friday, once a year, you can get a discount. If you're willing to spend over $1,000 to get Forza 5. Jesus Christ. It's not over $1,000 to get Forza 5. How disingenuous is this? Okay, let's compare it. Let's make it more relevant. Gran Turismo and PS4. I don't know how much PS4 is going for now. $400 here. Gran Turismo, maximum $80. That's $480. That's not... We're not talking over $1,000, man. This is just complete dishonesty. I can't believe someone's actually written something so stupid. And the fact this guy can even afford iRacing when he's that stupid. And then he ends off, you can only race one car at a time. That's what that's what racing games are. You race one car at a time. iRacing is significantly better than the racing on Forza. Well, yeah, I agree in that sense. It is because obviously the cars feel better, the physics are better. Online racing is probably better. But this whole argument that he's making is completely stupid, and it has 5,700 burning emojis. I can't believe this is a real post. People take this seriously, and this is the most hilarious part, that apparently people just suddenly buy all the Forza DLC for over $100, and implying that people are gonna buy a wheel from $300 plus if they didn't already have a wheel. Here we go. Here's another Reddit post. We're getting towards the end of my shitty rant now. But it's not that expensive. I pay more for Netflix in a year, and all I get in return are shitty movies. Well, for Netflix, you're actually paying for what you like. You get to watch what you like, when you like, where you like, on your phone, in your bed, in your toilet, in your bathroom. So, whatever, I'm not going to defend Netflix. However, what I will defend Netflix on is their pricing system, and it's actually quite, I was going to say genius, but nowadays it's just common sense. In the past decade, the majority of companies have tried to globalize and adopt this sort of pay system, which is, proven successful. We're seeing it with Apple now, doing with splitting up everything, Apple TV, Apple Music, because it works. iRacing is still very traditional, and we call this term geographical pricing. So this term, what am I talking about? Geographical pricing. Well, this is what's annoying me about iRacing. I said that I wasn't going to lay into iRacing, but I keep doing that. But this is what is pissing me off a lot. Now, because of the whole pandemic situation, the Australian dollar is falling. Most global currencies are getting impacted, right? However, Netflix, as you'll see right here, Netflix actually keeps its $9 price for America. So $9 US in America, $9 Australian in Australia. And it's got 3 forms of membership that you can buy. So it tries to cater to a broad audience. iRacing, on the other hand, has not said anything about splitting up their pricing system, trying to get more people to enjoy iRacing. What they've done is they've kept it the same, and this is what really pisses me off. I think I cut it out, but there was a post on this Reddit comment where another user was saying it's only $8. It's only $8 US. Granted that this is a few years old now, but now we're talking about a monthly membership of $13 US. That doesn't sound bad at all. If you're an American, doesn't sound too bad. But then you have to take into account that's over $20 now And there is the iRacing tax. So from what I recall, a membership should be about $22 to $23. I forgot what the tax percentage was on top of that, but it's high monthly. Okay, you can't expect a student or someone who is struggling, especially now during a pandemic, they might have lost their job or something, to add $20 on top of their phone bill, on top of their water bill, on top of all these other things. And people can say, "Oh, but you're getting all this fun racing enjoyment, whatever." Yeah, I would agree with you if the content was really cheap, like the cars and tracks, or if they were free. But that's not the case. They're not. So it has an impact on a lot of people. And I'll get to my final point soon. So yeah, the whole pricing system, and even in the UK, they keep it at £9. They don't what's it called? Alter their. They don't keep that same US price everywhere in the world. You know what I mean? So Netflix, as an example here, alter their price based on the geography of their customers. What does that do? It opens up the market. It allows them to get more users, and we see Netflix still dominating when it comes to video streaming as a whole. They've got this whole pricing system that's fantastic. And here's the final point I want to get to. I think these two people kind of summarize everything up very well. It really comes down to an individual's financial situation. $100 means different things to different people. It does. $100 US is completely different to $100 Australian. I personally agree with everything you say, but a lot of the complaints you see online or wherever the cost is likely from people who don't have a lot of extra expendable income, but still love good quality racing. I can definitely see how those individuals could struggle with the cost structure against these benefits. Anyways, just adding a perspective. Nice breakdown, and I'm sure it will help some people realize the value. So, I have to agree with the second person there as well. I'm a student. Money is tight, but iRacing subscription is worth my entertainment value. I personally enjoy iRacing as a whole. All I'm asking for is I'll get to my conclusion, I guess now. All I'm asking for is for people to stop simping on iRacing. iRacing is expensive. Stop acting like it is this kind of what's it called? Kind of sim that you're getting every cent's worth. You're not. You're not getting every cent's worth, because if you've had iRacing for years and you own all this content, think about all that money you've spent on iRacing, and you don't really own anything if you don't pay a month's worth of subscription. Nothing is yours. You can't even access that home screen. Are you delusional? I really get a cult-like vibe from when I read iRacing's Reddit community. You know, everyone loves to harp on and say, if you can't afford it, don't do iRacing. Well, we can afford it, but we can't afford it for a long time. Do you understand? And I really hate this ignorance of the iRacing community, this boomer-like mentality. If you can't afford it, don't do it. Well, I'm trying to help iRacing as well here. I'm trying to offer them an alternative price structure that would bring in a lot more people. A lot more people would enjoy this. As far as I know, you can't even play iRacing offline, man. You can't even play that shit offline. You can buy other sims for much cheaper, and you can play them offline. So it really comes down to whatever. So yeah, this is my point. I wish people would stop simping about iRacing and just be honest. It is overpriced. iRacing needs an alternative pay system. I really hope they make subscription mandatory only for online racing. And if you want to race AI offline, I hope that all you have to do is buy tracks and cars. If not, lower the price of your content inside iRacing. And if somehow someone from iRacing is listening to this, you have to realize the amount of people that you've got on iRacing right now. iRacing is obviously doing very well because of this lockdown situation. They've got a lot of famous people racing on it, but you have to realize a lot of your users are elderly. They can obviously sim race for a long time, but for how long? A lot of the younger sim racers, they're good sim racers. They're extremely quick, but you can see them if you just open your eyes a bit and go do some research into other communities. Raceroom has a lot of fast guys, and they're pretty young. They're students. They race clean. Why shouldn't they have the opportunity to get on iRacing? Just because they can't afford it. Some of them live in countries like Turkey or areas such as Eastern Europe where they can't afford something like iRacing. They're extremely quick drivers. Why the hell shouldn't they be on iRacing? Why shouldn't they have the opportunity if they're good drivers? Again, I hate this elitism of iRacing. I wish it would go for once, because it's a good sim, but to act like it's the best sim at everything, it's not. Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 is much better. Indy cars on iRacing, probably the best. Oval racing on NASCAR, probably the best. Formula Ones on iRacing, practically non-existent. That's where Assetto Corsa would come in, where it's with its race sim studio F1 mods. So every sim has its own strength. So to act like iRacing is some elite thing that deserves every penny out of your wallet is ridiculous. It needs an alternative pay system. I keep saying this. You can get mad all you like, but it is what it is. So this is my shitty rant. I kind of put this together really quickly. I know I missed a lot of points that I wanted to make because I had a bunch of articles and just posts that I was reading last night by people defending iRacing, and I kind of I didn't save a lot of them. So before I made this video, I tried to find most of the stuff I read. Well, that's all. So thank you for watching. See ya.